everybody, it's Adam Pacitti and Sam Driver from Cultaholic Wrestling, and after a mixed, shall we say, I think that's putting it kindly, SummerSlam 2021, we are here with some lovely wrestling news. So let's take a look at the headline, shall we? What happened after SummerSlam went off the air? Bray Wyatt is reportedly likely headed to All Elite Wrestling, and WWE 2K22 has been delayed. We'll tell you everything you need to know in a little bit. So following, and I'm sure you've seen this by now, but spoiler alert, just in case, Brock Lesnar's return to WWE. The man looks like a human onion. I think he's terrifying looking, actually.
He looks like Goro and Abe from Abe's Odyssey kind of combined.
Nice.
Weird,
I like that. What's
he's not
a
got
compliment?
the 4 arms. He's like a really buff Abe.
At Brock Lesnar. You look like this, Sam Driver said so. After Brock Lesnar's return, he had a bit of a stare down with Roman Reigns, of course. Very, very exciting stuff. Looking forward to seeing where that goes with Paul Heyman in the mix as well.
The noise Paul was making, he was like, oh!
He was always in tears, wasn't he? But what happened after SummerSlam went off the air? It wasn't fun for John Cena, I'll tell you that much. Various fan footage has emerged of Cena back in the ring and Brock in a bit of a SummerSlam throwback for John Cena, one which I'm sure he absolutely loved, getting hit with German suplex after German suplex after German suplex. Of course, the cameras were rolling for this, so we don't know if this is going to be used by WWE as a way to, I guess, write Cena off, because he was never going to stay around or anything.
Cena has to be gone for 11 days, and he's going to go to a hospital in California.
And so the thing is, like, it's a bit of a weird one, because Brock, it looked like he was babyface coming back, because you can't really do heel versus heel very easily. He was pandering to the crowd,
got the big pop.
and then he knackers John Cena, just absolutely destroys him. I guess it's sort of a tweener, but...
Yeah, some wounds run deep, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think it's very, very exciting. I love the return. Brock is looking... Brock, how do you put it? He's a terrifying individual, but it's who knows, right? Whether this was planned in advance or if this is in response to Punk. This is what I was thinking about. Have they gone, okay, Brock, here is your truckload full of cash?
He did emerge, like when he came out, he did emerge as though he'd been getting led around backstage, and there was just a door that said Vince's office, and he walked through and his music hit.
It was
he kind of walked out like.
Hopefully details emerge regarding the new Brock Lesnar deal, because I think it's a fascinating situation. The timing is, well, we'll see. Next up, Bray Wyatt, most likely heading to AEW. Meltzer reporting on the Wrestling Observer Radio that Bray Wyatt is in all likelihood heading to AEW once he's free from his WWE non-compete. The quote is, it's not 100% because his non-compete's not up, but it's most likely happening. It's at the same stage when I said Aleister Black, long before it happened, same stage. I don't think there's pen to paper or anything like that, but it's an expectation that's pretty strong. Let's put it that way. This follows the news that we reported yesterday about AEW making another major acquisition. We don't know if that is Bray.
Or whether it was Flair as rumored.
Could be Flair. But, I mean, it's such a great fit for him. Like, he's a guy who was so creatively stifled by WWE's writing team, booking team, but has all this creativity behind him. He's like he's regarded generally as one of the most creative men in the business. And to go somewhere that offers typically more creative freedom.
Yeah, where he can fully reinvent himself once again in however he sees fit, where he's been stifled before. Who knows what ideas he's had that are amazing that have been shot down. There's got to be a stack like that, surely, of things he's thought up that they've said
that's
no
interesting.
to.
Would you
that
want
are probably too graphic, maybe a little bit too un-PG, but just enough to get onto TV somewhere else.
Speaking of that, would you want to see him as a new character? Would you want to see him as cult leader, Bray Wyatt? Would you want to see him as the Fiend again?
Well, there are options,
Husky
aren't
Harris?
there? You've got that kind of range with Bray. I think a lot of people, when it was first sort of floated around after his release, it was like, well, how amazing would it be for him to come in and lead the Dark Order?
Right.
And it would be like, I mean, that would be beautiful, but at the same time, I'd understand that he may not want to do that.
Well, they've said before that they don't think there's going to be a leader with the Dark Order. Various members of the Dark Order have said that they don't think they need a leader. But if anybody's going to do it, it's one of Luke Harper's, Brody Lee's, John Huber's friends in Bray Wyatt. And I actually think he's the only man possibly for the job if they're going to do that. I think Bray's the perfect fit for that.
But then if they don't want to, they can go down either a Fiend-like route with, I'm assuming, probably a much more graphic mask that was, again, probably said no to. The guy seems like he's really on top of his horror and stuff like that. So I just feel like there's a lot more there that we're going to see that's going to maybe give Bray Wyatt a new edge wherever we see him next.
It's one of those things, we could sit here and talk about this for 25 minutes. It's 2 hours. The world is their oyster. If they get Bray, it's another game changer. They've got Punk. It looks like they're getting Bryan. It looks like they're getting Bray. This is very, very exciting. And Ric Flair will also be there, wrestling Sting, of course. But speaking of CM Punk, by the way, AJ Lee reacting to CM Punk's AEW debut. Just a quick one here. She tweeted, "Go on, break the internet, boo," at CM Punk, with screenshots from SportsCenter, from ESPN, from Denise Salcedo. Love it. I mean, the social media traffic, it was huge yesterday. It did break the internet.
Of course, I mean, as I said, it's like the second coming of the wrestling universe. This, so it was always going to be a big deal. But I think the high's just not going away. This is going to last for months.
It's awesome, isn't it? I've not been this excited about just professional wrestling as a whole in so long. One thing though, before we go, not to get too excited for because it's been delayed, is WWE 2K22. During SummerSlam, they showed off the first proper trailer of 2K22. It's looking good and everything. So that's cool, but they revealed at the end that unfortunately it's going to be delayed until March 2022. In my opinion, this isn't actually a bad thing because WWE 2K20 was such a PR disaster that if they released 2K22 and it was a mess,
to fix it,
if it was buggy as hell, that's gonna sour people on the brand even more. So let's give them time and get it right.
This was the thing. I think the second the trailer started, I was like, this is a little bit. Okay, this is a lot, because usually the trailer's so polished and so refined, I was like, right, and then obviously the date dropped. But I mean, it looks great as it is, so how much extra time is gonna, polish that up even more?
Right.
It only needs to be as good as it can possibly be, and that's so much pressure, but if they can get it right,
I think they will. Everything's looking very, very promising. It's been a long time since we had a proper WWE game. I'm fed up of doing simulations with 2K19 at this point. 2K20, a lot of it's been fixed, but there is still bugs in there.
We'll just get back on Here Comes the Pain, mate. That's all we can do.
I agree. Roll on March 2022 and roll on next week because there's a lot going on in the world of wrestling. You've got to imagine Brock Lesnar's going to be over on SmackDown. You've got CM Punk.
Brock,
and most importantly,
man.
You've got Logan Paul on Monday Night Raw.
How could we forget the biggest return of the weekend?
Cannot wait. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I will see you for NXT TakeOver live reactions. Today, of course, coming up. What Happened That's already on the channel. You've got Graded. You've got WTF. Take care of yourselves. All the best. Goodbye.
See you later.